Hey everyone, so over the weekend I did a video over on my Quick channel going through the LEGO City sets that have been unveiled so far for, they're called 2019 sets, they have 2019 on the box, but some of them, a lot of them are already actually being sold in Canada. Canada was first this time. But now, pursuant to your requests, I'm going to go through talking about these from a purely subjective personal perspective, not doing reviews, not doing review previews or whatever, not thinking of kind of the balance. Hopefully I'll be able to get through it without being too balanced about it. I really just want to use this type of time, this type of video, just to talk about what I think about these as me, you know, purely as a LEGO fan, as an adult LEGO fan, not representing anyone else, just only representing myself. So, I'm going to start with the fire stuff. This is Burger Bar Fire Rescue, and the Burger Bar is the star here to me, for sure. It actually looks strangely believable. It looks familiar to me. It looks just so appropriate with its size and the use of color and the shape of it. It's actually pretty complete. Like, put a wall on the back of it and you're done. It doesn't need to be expanded out to make it bigger. This is like a semi-permanent installation at a fairgrounds site or a racetrack or something. It just looks right. You could also use it on the side of a road, but I feel like I recognize it, and I like that. I also like the sign, minus the apparatus on the back to hold up the flame pieces. The inclusion of the fire motorcycle here is kind of a throwaway. I mean, fire motorcycles in real life are used as first responder units. They're more like, you know, first line of defense EMT units. They don't really do much for fires, so I don't think that's doing much for this set. There's a truck here. Yay! It's actually a very good looking truck. Looks very complete, nicely designed, and I appreciate the use of the light yellow color as the accent. So they used it for the stripes and also in the fire logo there. It looks so classy to do that rather than using the standard yellow. I like that. What does not look classy is that water cannon on top. It looks very Playmobil-like to me. And I say that with reverence and without. I say that with reverence to Playmobil and recognizing, you know, I have a very large soft spot in my heart for Playmobil. I still have my Playmobil channel going. But, you know, Playmobil has its own thing, and it's typically designed for younger kids, and they have larger shapes, and, you know, they have their thing going that works for them. Lego has its thing going for it also that works for it. It's the system, and this looks out of system to leave it completely exposed there on the top. If this had a flap going over the top that you would just easily just flip back and then this huge thing comes out, I'm okay with that. You know, because as an action feature, I think the water cannon, the air-based pneumatic water cannon system that they've come up with is probably going to be much, much better to actually play with than any of the projectile-based stuff. Just sitting it on top of the truck like that, nah, I don't like that. Looking at this bigger set, I think this is the biggest of the fire sets that have been unveiled so far. This makes much better use of that exact same mechanism, that exact same system, because they move the bulb somewhere else. Now, in this shot, the bulb is away from you so you don't see it. I'm willing to bet that if I looked at this from the other side, I wouldn't like it quite so much. You know, in person, I think it's going to be very unsightly. But as far as the cannon itself, it's oversized for the system, but it's not too bad. And again, I like the action of the thing. Speaking of oversized, I thought the trailer was badly oversized, just a waste of pieces and complexity in the set. At first, that was just on first impression, but then I saw that it's actually a docking bay, a little container to hold on to the remotely operated vehicle that comes out of it. That's pretty cool. I like that little thing. Has another new action feature for this year. Unfortunately, this goes in the wrong direction with projectiles. So rather than being a single stud shooter, this one shoots out flat tiles. 1x1 round flat tiles. And it looks like it shoots 3 of them at a time. Shotgun style is how they'll come out. And then you have 3 things to try to find. And tiles, I think, are going to be even more finicky to pick up and to find. They use the same thing on the helicopter in this set. Helicopter is small, but it kind of does its trick. The building is being presented as a construction site. I think it's really supposed to be a thorough renovation because it looks like an older building. And, there's not much that you can do with it. It's not like this is a good starting set to build a building, to complete a building. It's very shallow. The crane is okay, but doesn't do much. I actually like the little porta potty. Let me try to move through these a little bit quicker if I can. Fortunately, I've gotten through some of the major new things that are shared throughout the series. Oh yeah, there was also this one has it too. New light and sound module. Very nice. A little 6 wide, 6x2 by, what is it? 1? This is the fire station for this year, which at first glance just gave me a lot of nostalgia. It feels like something older. It feels like something from the 90s in a good way, with its shape and everything. But then looking at it a little bit longer, I realized, that garage bay is designed to hold essentially this brush truck or fire commander truck thing. I'm going to look at it as a brush truck myself. And that's small. It's not like you're going to get one of the big engines or trucks into this, back it into this garage bay and have it closed up at all. I mean, I'm sure that you'll be able to roll some through. It looks like the roll-up door is tall enough, but everything is just going to stick out the back so far. And then, water scooter. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine for what it is. Instead of a helicopter here, you have a recon multicopter. I guess we're calling them drones nowadays. A fight that's been lost, even though they are remotely controlled. They're not actual drones. Anyway, I feel like in the past year, actually looking at the development cycles, it would have been 2 years, but folks at LEGO just suddenly realized that multicopters, or call them drones, are a thing, and that a lot of people like them. They're a little bit behind on that, but it's nice that they realized it. But, I mean, what is a kid supposed to do with this? I don't know. It doesn't make that much sense to me to put so much focus on that in this set. Just doesn't have that much use here, I'll put it that way. This is probably going to be a retailer exclusive thing. In Canada, it's Toys R Us exclusive, I believe. I might be mistaken on that. And yes, folks from the U.S., Toys R Us still exists outside of the U.S. in some places. Nice size plane. Nice use of the 2x2 domes instead of 1x1 cylinders. It's just a lot easier to collect those. They will do more damage when they fall. A nice amount of terrain. That's something that's been lacking in the past in sets like this. They actually give you 2 whole trees. And a little bit more beyond that. Cool. A little UTV off to the side. Has a water shotgun on its side. You can use that if you want, or just leave it off completely. Cool looking thing. I think a fine set. This set, I don't know. This does not interest me at all. I want that hull. I do want that hull. I'm pointing at my screen right now. I want that hull because I like the idea. I have, I think, 2 versions of that hull so far in other colors, but red seems like the perfect color to do a cute little ship or a boat of some sort, but not this one. This looks like a junior's boat, but it's not. It does float. That's good, but I don't know. This just doesn't do anything for me. This is not juniors anymore, but it's effectively juniors. It's from the 4+ line. It looks perfect for what it is. I don't really need to talk about this much. I think that, for what it is, it's more than good enough. I think it will definitely do the trick. And again, has that nostalgic feeling for me a little bit. And it looks like it's going to be just $10 in the US. In Canada, it's 14 Canadian. Should translate to $10 in the US, which I think it's actually a really, really good deal for what it is. So looking at police then, the theme for this year's police is Sky Police. That's an idea that could be good. I don't think it has worked out so well from what I've seen of these pictures so far. So this is basically the police station for this year, as far as I know. Maybe they'll come out with something else. Hopefully they'll come out with something else. But this is the police station. And there's not much to the station, is there? It's a, air traffic control tower. That's cool. I think it's fine. And then there's a little bit of wall connecting to a single holding cell. That looks very incomplete and unsatisfying to me. I think it's going to be worse in person, just kind of looking at what I can see here. The whole structure, I don't know, just feels very lacking to me. This huge plane, this is a pretty big plane. Even though it's using that same canopy piece, that's been used a lot in the past. It's the plane is bigger than most of the planes that have used that 6-wide core. Goes out to an 8-wide core, really in the center of this fuselage. I like the plane actually. I think it's pretty cool. Nice wide, broad wingspan for a change. And they've introduced this parachute thing. I like that. If it works, I'm gonna like it a lot. As a kid, I think I got one parachuting dude toy, and it did not work well. And then I think I tried to make a parachuting dude of my own, making my own parachute. I think it worked even worse. So if this actually works, it'll be redemption for me. Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll not be annoying having to fold it up properly. Basically, as long as it doesn't fail in action as much as the net shooters have, I think it could be a good thing. I actually really like the jetpack too. I think that fits right into the kind of the good stuff that can be done with this theme as a general idea, Sky Police. And yeah, the wingsuit jetpack thing I think is a really good idea. I also like the new visors. You'll see more of those. This set I think is just fine. I don't see anything about this set really that is done wrong. Oh, except for the name. Yeah, they call it Diamond Heist. Just to let you know, Lego people, or people of Denmark, is it? Diamonds are not red typically. So yeah, just a little tip there. I like the truck. Looks very nice. Looks very stout. Looks well armored. Has the light and sound module on it. Works for fire. Works for police. Very good. I like the inclusion of the wingsuit, jetpack, whatever it is. And I like the bad guy multi-copter thing. Probably would have been... Is it? I don't think that the rotors can tilt. Probably would have been better if it was done as a tilt rotor, but that's a tiny nitpick. I think the thing looks cool. Realistic or not, as a toy, yeah. And my eyes as an adult looking at this, or not as an adult, as if I represent AFOLs. No, as me looking at this, I like it. There we go. We'll move on. This thing, this is some of the not so cool stuff that they've done with the general idea of Sky Police, in my opinion, because the idea here is that you've got this twin-engine jet, and it's supposed to be flying through the air at, probably a minimum of 200 to 250 knots, and it's supposed to capture this bad guy. I feel like that has to be a violation of the Geneva Convention. I really don't like it. I like the visors. Again, the pilot also has the breathing tube and mask portion of that the visor attaches to. The plane is fine in terms of its design. The ATV looks really cool. Looks very proper. Looks very modern. I like it. And then they have a bike there, which is very appropriate for this set, I think. And I don't like the main premise of the set. Here's another one with another air-based thing. Sky Police, yeah. Helicopter, totally makes sense. That helicopter looks like a mess to me. It just looks like a mess. Maybe it'll play well. Maybe it won't. It's got the net shooter on it. I don't know. Those haven't worked that well. I don't like the rotor. I don't like all the different colors, the different shapes. It just looks like a mess to me. I'll have to see in person if it looks better. The multicopter, the drone thing, looks good. And I do like the premise of this one. I like the premise. I think the premise of this set works the best of any of them from this theme. I like the statue. Pedestal is kind of basic, but I think this will play okay, but I don't like the look of the helicopter at all. That's not a plane. I started to say this plane. Just stuck on the sky thing. Anyway, this is not a plane. This is a car. This car is fine. Moving on. This is a plane. This is from the 4+ line, obviously. It looks a little bit Jetsons-like. A little bit of 60s cartoon feel there. I think for what it is, it's probably just fine. It'll probably fly well. And I like the pilot. Cool. Okay, so that moves us past the emergency response stuff, and a lot of people always complain that LEGO should stop doing fire stuff and all the time, and stop doing police stuff all the time. But as I say all the time, and I will continue to defend LEGO on this, I don't care what anybody thinks about it, they make police and fire stuff because police and fire stuff sells. And it's a company, they have to pay their employees who have kids, blah, blah, blah. That's why they do police and fire stuff. And they do new stuff so that stuff doesn't stay stale on shelves and doesn't stay the same all the time. So moving past those, this is a Harvester transport set, which is good to see. I don't like the front of the truck myself. I appreciate them trying different things for shapes and all, but I don't like the shaping that they've got there with the blue pieces. Just personally, it's a small thing. The Harvester itself looks great. Hopefully it'll fold out nicely. I don't know. I think it's just pretty perfect, to be honest. And the trailer, the Lowboy style trailer, looks like it has a nice long ramp off the back, so that'll work properly, hopefully. And it's actually built up. It's not using one of those prefab trailer bases. I don't mind those prefab trailer bases, but this is much more interesting when you actually get to build it up, and it's more custom and more appropriate for use in a specific application like this. So that's pretty cool. Snow Groomer, the Snowcat with a big dozer plow blade on the front. Makes sense. Big old tracks. I mean, they really went in on this one. I mean, this is much larger than it needs to be. I appreciate that. Looks pretty complete. Snow cannon on the back. Why? So I am certain what they're trying to do there, what they're trying to emulate, is the action of a snow blower, which this actually doesn't have on it the way that it's designed, but I get what they're going for, but it doesn't make sense in a toy. A 6-stud shooter, I've already talked about that in this video and also in plenty of videos before. The studs go everywhere in RIP. So I don't recommend that you use that. It doesn't make that much sense. I think the number one use case for that snow cannon on the back would be to shoot at the poor skier going by for being dumb and ignoring the slope under maintenance, stay out signs that were surely posted up at the top of the mountain. You just use that to shoot at people, which is kind of mean, but kind of had it coming. In this case, she kind of had it coming to her, I believe. This is a set with a boat and a couple divers, and the divers have hair pieces. Thank you. And there's a green camera. I like getting accessories in different colors. And there's a saw shark. I've always called these sawfish. They are not sawfish. They are saw sharks. Gills on the sides. I learned something for this video because I honestly had forgotten what they were called, and then I started to look it up, and I typed into Google sawfish, and that's when I realized, oh, I remember what they're called. And then I started reading results and I realized, oh, I've been wrong my entire life. Boat is fine. It floats. I like that hull. I like the colors. I like a little bit of terrain. Good set, in my opinion. This is fine. And I want lots of those gray, squared off fender pieces. This is fine. And it looks like it's going to be cheap and it's going to be good to play with. I wish that they would do something a little bit better for connecting buckets to small heavy equipment, but as it is, it's about as good as it gets, I think, for this scale and level of complexity and target market and all that. I think it's fine. This thing looks cool too. I have a feeling I might not like it so much once I see it in person, especially the underside. I have some questions about that, but we'll see. But I mean, just as a rough and tumble off-road vehicle, I think it looks cool enough. And then lastly, one more, don't call it a junior set. This looks cool to me too. It just screams toy. I am a toy. I am truck. It almost has a face on it. I am truck. Go play with me. Yeah, that is just good. I think that's the first time that they've done that. Is it an 8-wide unitary dump bed in orange? So that would be good for customizers of Mars mission and power miners, I think. The thing that was interesting about this to me is that it's really just a dump truck set. But I initially was going to complain about that and say it's dumb, but I think it's actually the right choice there, because having it open on the top means kids can just pick up the trash bin and just dump stuff in there, and then they can dump it out. That's all you can ask for. So cool. And that's that. Overall, definitely mixed feelings. There were some things in here that I personally like the look of. One of the action features may work well. One of them, I think, won't. As always, I have to see how these things really look in person, how they really feel in the hands and all. But, wow, lots of vehicles, huh? Lots of vehicles. There will be more LEGO City sets that will be unveiled. Probably some of them sooner than later. Looking forward to that batch of stuff. I have a feeling there's going to be more cooler stuff in the next batch, in the next wave. But this one, yeah, had some good stuff and some meh stuff as usual. At least looking at what looked to be the prices, what the prices are looking like so far, if they're correct, if they're accurate, it looks like the prices will be reasonable for most of the line. Nothing crazy ridiculous, but they could change that as stuff comes to these shores. We'll see. But that's it. A lot of people asked me to do this, so thank you for your feedback. It's a pleasure to be able to go through and just do something casual if folks want to hear it, want to see it. And yeah, I'll be doing more in the future. Talk to you again soon.